Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another video. It's that time of the weekend, it's Premier League predictions time. Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters are almost upon us for this weekend. And of course, this is the video where I talk about each and every single game, analyse them, and of course give my predictions on how I think each and every single game will turn out. Before we get into all of that though, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. Mainly, of course, your predictions, because after all, where would a Premier League predictions video be after all without your predictions? All of that good stuff will make for great and interesting reading down below, so please do get involved. And without further ado, we will kick things off with Saturday's lunchtime game between Nottingham Forest and Manchester City at the City Ground. And I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Now, I'm basing this off of form this season. I'm basing this prediction off of the fact that Forest can be very tough opponents. Forest may have the extra incentive because, of course, these are two top four rivals this season, battling it out for Champions League places. This could be a huge game for both of these sides. Whichever side wins will have a massive mentality boost, I would imagine, confidence boost in terms of obtaining top four. We know it hasn't exactly been the season that a lot of Manchester City fans had panned out for them. And likewise could be said for Nottingham Forest, but for much better reasons. They are not battling relegation. They are not floundering around in mid-table. They are battling for European football places this season. Now, if I had to pick a winner, I would probably say Man City, given obviously the players they have at their disposal, given obviously the players they have in their ranks, the talent, the quality, the individual talent, the overall quality of the team, and maybe the fact that maybe the squad depth of Nottingham Forest is shining through a little bit, the lack of it. Maybe that is just hindering Forest a little bit. It hasn't exactly been smooth sailing for Nuno Espirito Santo's side in recent weeks, but they are still going strong. They are still a tough nut to crack. They are still a strong and disciplined defensive structure that will be difficult for City to break down. I'm going 1-1. I'm not entirely confident. I feel like City could get the victory in this one, but I still think it'll be a tough game for Forest and for Man City. And Forest will need to rely on their quick and decisive counter-attack to get them through this game, I would imagine. But yeah, I'm going with a draw. I'm sticking with my original prediction. Next, we're moving on to Brighton against Fulham, and I've gone with another draw for this one. I've gone 2-2. In this one. Again, if I was to pick a winner, I would go the home side rather than the away side. I still think that Brighton are a very good outfit. I still think Brighton goes strong in certain games. I know they've kind of drew a fair few games this season, one of the highest drawing teams in the Premier League this season. But even so, they have a very good squad. They have match winners that are capable of winning these types of games. They've got a young squad, decent players that always come through Brighton. But at the same time, in saying that, Fulham are no pushovers and have proven so this season. And again, these teams are battling in around the European football places. Hasn't exactly been smooth sailing for them all, for both of these two teams all season. But they are within touching distance, and a couple of wins here and a couple of defeats there could ultimately change the outlook of the Premier League table as we currently know it, given how close about 7 or 8 teams are in the Premier League as of right now in terms of battling for European football places. In saying all of that, I'm going with a draw. This game is really up for grabs. It could go any which way, but I'm calling it down the middle, and I'm going to say 2-2. Come the final whistle. Next up, we're off to Selhurst Park for Crystal Palace against Ipswich. And I've gone 3-1 to Crystal Palace. Palace have actually been in some very good form in recent weeks. Really seem to have stepped it up under Oliver Glasner these past few weeks. Of course, they were in FA Cup action last week. They managed to get through that game. albeit somewhat overshadowed by, of course, the injury to Jean-Philippe Mateta. So he's going to be a big absence if that is to be the case. But I still think Palace will have enough about them to get through. I still think Palace will have enough quality, especially in the final third, to get the job done, get over the finish line, and win this game by 3-1. Next up, Liverpool. Top of the table, Liverpool. 13 points clear. Have the opportunity to go 16 points clear before Arsenal even kick a ball this weekend, if they can beat rock bottom of the table, Southampton. The Saints need to pick up points. That is an obvious understatement if there ever was one said. They need to pick up points. This is a potential banana skin for Liverpool that they have to navigate through. They can't go into this one thinking the game is already won, because if they do and they take their eye off the ball, they could be left with egg on their face. It's a massive week for Liverpool. They'll have midweek Champions League action with PSG to contend with in the second leg back at Anfield. And then they will obviously be off to Wembley to take on Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final the following weekend. So it's a massive weekend for Liverpool. It's a big weekend for Southampton as well. It doesn't look good for Southampton. I've gone 3-0 to Liverpool, and that's saying something considering that Liverpool do tend to lack stupid goals at times. I'm going 3-0. I'm sticking with that prediction. I'm going with Liverpool to make it 16 points clear at the top of the table by the end of the week. Well, not the end of the weekend, but by the end of this game. Depending on what Arsenal do, of course. But again, this is a banana skin. This is a very, very big red flag if Liverpool don't take this with the professional care that it so deserves. Southampton, they've been poor this season, but we know they can spring a surprise every now and again. We have seen stranger things happen in the Premier League. Liverpool cannot take their eyes off the ball here. They have to win this game. Next up, Brentford against Aston Villa in what I believe is the 5:30 game on Saturday this weekend. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, it actually is. Yes, it is. It is the game that is 5:30 this week. I've gone 1-1. I've gone 1-1 between these two sides. Now, Brentford, as we know, on their day, can be very difficult opposition. We know that they can be tricky to beat. We know that they have the firepower in the final third with Brian and Mbeumo and obviously Johan Visser. That can obviously hurt any level of opposition. And we know that defensively, if they are on their day disciplined, if they are on their day solid to break down, make no mistakes, they can most definitely cause teams some food for thought and neutralise certain teams. Aston Villa, we know, battling for Europe. They are battling on all other fronts as well. FA Cup, Champions League. We know that this is a good opportunity for Unai Emery's side to get 3 points under their belts, especially in what is going to be another tough week for them in terms of the second leg of the Champions League coming up. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big game, this. And the only reason why I've gone a draw on 1-1 is normally in this type of scenario, after a big Champions League game, Aston Villa tend to slip up a little bit. And that's what I'm going to say will happen here. I think Brentford can take advantage of the fact that Villa will have an extra 90 minutes or so in their legs from Tuesday night's game. I think that Villa will struggle. I think they've played a lot of football recently. I think that maybe that will take its toll. I know that they have match winners in their squad, and I know they have a very good squad all around. The likes of Ollie Watkins and Morgan Rogers. Marco Asensio was on fire recently. I know that they are a very, very good outfit, Aston Villa. But I just think, like I say, given form of coming off the back of a Champions League game, I think Brentford can maybe sense blood here and can maybe turn this into a favourable game for them. But we shall see. Going for the points to be shared between Brentford and Aston Villa. Next up, Wolverhampton Wanderers are taking on Everton at Molineux, and I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Draw seems to be a very common theme in this video. I didn't actually realise how many draws I'd actually gone with. Look, either one of these two teams could win this game, and obviously Wolves will need it a bit more than Everton. Everton are seemingly safe right now. Had a big resurrection under David Moyes. He's done brilliant since his return to the club. And Wolves will be sensing an opportunity here to maybe get 3 points over Everton and obviously put themselves even further beyond the realms of being pulled into a relegation battle. So it's a big incentive for both these sides. Everton to continue their progression under David Moyes. Wolves to put more distance between themselves and relegation. It's a massive game that I think probably will cancel each other out, in all honesty. I know that they have match winners on both sides. But again, Wolves, they'll be missing Mateus Cunha, which is going to be a massive miss for them. Everton have Beto, who seems to be in pretty good goal-scoring form right now. I think Wolves will have enough about them to get the draw. But if I had to lean more towards a winner, I'm probably going with Everton, purely based on the fact that there's no Mateus Cunha for Wolves. They may struggle with a bit of skill, a bit of flair, a bit of individual brilliance. I'm now kind of leaning more towards Everton, now that I've said it out loud. And I did think about this before the game. I'm going to stick with my original prediction. I'm going to go 1-1. But the more and more that I think about it, the more and more that I think Everton will get the win. I'm going to go 1-1. But I'm not entirely confident. Next up, we're moving on to Sunday's games. And first and foremost, we're at Stamford Bridge for Chelsea, welcoming Leicester. Enzo Maresca meets his old club again. And I think that he's going to get one over on his old club. I think it's going to be 3-1 to Chelsea. I think Chelsea will have no problem in dispatching Leicester. I know that they haven't had the best of runs in recent games. But I just think that Leicester playing very poorly. Poor run of form. I just think Chelsea will just do a number on them. I really, really do. And I know that Chelsea's defence isn't great. It still leaks goals. It still leaks stupid goals at that. So I do think Leicester will get some sort of joy in scoring at least a goal in this one. But I just don't see it being enough. I see too many individual errors and mistakes from Leicester, particularly defensively. And I think Chelsea can take full advantage of that. And I do think that the Blues will get one over on the Foxes. So Enzo Maresca to enjoy meeting his old club again. And I think that Chelsea will get the 3 points in this one. Next up, Spurs against Bournemouth at the London Stadium. And I've gone with a 3-1 win to Bournemouth because why not? No, Spurs, poor midweek. Lost to AZ Alkmaar. Got a big uphill battle to do in the second leg. Not ideal for Ange Postecoglou's side. Maybe they'll have one eye on that game. It could force a bit of a rotated side for Spurs in this game. And that could obviously be taken full advantage of by Bournemouth, who of course are on the verge of some sort of European football this season if they continue to play well and play their cards right. Bournemouth, very good squad. Bournemouth battling hard. Fantastic management by Andoni Areola. Despite the fact that they've suffered with a number of injuries. This is really the injury El Clasico, isn't it? Between these two. Probably the two most injured teams of this season. But Bournemouth have done exceptionally well to be where they are. Spurs not done so well to obviously be middle of the pack, sort of 13th, I believe, for Spurs. And like I say, I think depends where their heads are at, Spurs. Are they going to be focusing on the second leg of the Europa League game? Are they actually going to try and maybe rotate? Are they going to try and maybe salvage something from the end of the season, Premier League-wise? It's going to be very interesting to see where the hearts and minds of everybody associated with Spurs are at right now. Do they throw this game? Do they try and just make this like a practice game for the Europa League game? It's It's going to be interesting to see how Spurs really handle this one, especially considering that Bournemouth earlier on in the season did beat them. Bournemouth are a very, very good side, and Bournemouth, of course, are on the verge of European football, which gives them that little bit extra incentive to go on and win this game. I'm going Bournemouth to win by 3-1. It's going to be a very interesting game at the London Stadium for this one. No, wait, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Did I say London Stadium? I meant Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. My bad. The London Stadium is this game, where West Ham will be taking on Newcastle on Monday night in a huge, huge, huge game. I've gone 1-1 for this one. Now, I was debating this one back and forth because West Ham have had a couple of good results in recent weeks. Newcastle have got a ton of injury problems. Carabao Cup final on the horizon as well for Newcastle. They don't really want to have any more injury concerns if they can help it. So maybe they don't go as much in this one as maybe they should. Either way, this one's going to be a big game. I think Graham Potter's side can definitely sense blood in this one. I think if they are to go at this and they are to be professional about it, I think they could really upset Newcastle here. I think they could really, really rattle them in this one. But in saying that, Newcastle still have a very good side. Newcastle are still going strong despite the injury concerns and problems that they are currently facing. And I do think they will at least get one goal. And that could be enough to get them a point at the very least. West Ham, like I say, past few weeks, things seem to have gone up for them. Good few results. This one's going to be tricky to call. I think it's going to be tricky to call because of other aspects. Like, West Ham can be a bit Jekyll and Hyde at times. But if they are to go at this and maybe catch Newcastle cold, maybe catch Newcastle feeling a little sorry for themselves in terms of the injuries, maybe they've also got one eye on the Carabao Cup final coming up next week, I think West Ham could certainly get something from this game. I'm going 1-1, but the more I think about it, the more that I actually may start to side with the home side in terms of picking a winner. So I'm going to stick my original prediction, but West Ham to win wouldn't be out of the realms of possibility, in my personal opinion. And finally, what I believe to be the biggest game of this round of fixtures, the main event of this upcoming weekend's round of Premier League action. It comes from Old Trafford. It is a Premier League classic between Manchester United and Arsenal. And I've gone 3-1 to the Gunners. This game, obviously as a Liverpool fan, I am supporting Manchester United for the first time, well, for probably the first time ever, in all honesty. If it benefits my team in any sort of way, shape or form, I will gladly support a rival for at least a couple of hours. So, with that being said, if Liverpool are to get their business handled this week, go 16 points clear before Arsenal even kick a ball on Sunday evening, and then Man United go and do Liverpool a favour, fantastic. Fantastic. Would love that. Would hold nothing against them. That would be brilliant. However, this is Manchester United we're talking about. They've not exactly been great in recent weeks. Ruben Amorim is still finding it difficult to settle in, I would say. And obviously he's finding out that his squad just isn't good enough. Do they maybe turn it on a little bit because the incentive of it being a big game? Do they maybe turn it on a bit in the incentive that it's against Arsenal? Maybe. There are probably other Man United fans out there that may actually want to roll over in this one just to give Arsenal any chance of maybe catching Liverpool up by any chance possible. There also could be that side of things. But I think for the benefit of Manchester United going forward, the long-term picture, they're probably better off trying to go at this and go tooth and claw to try and get something from this game. Whether they do or not, I don't know, and I don't necessarily think so. I think Arsenal will be incentivised and obviously given that big injection and shot of confidence by the 7-1 victory that they picked up midweek against PSV in the Champions League. they found their goal scoring touch on that day. They'll of course, they're pretty much through, aren't they? There's no way that PSV are scoring at the very least 6 goals to win on a penalty shootout in the Champions League in the second leg. So they're pretty much through. So they can probably rotate next week, which gives them a big incentive to go hard in this one, to go properly in on Manchester United in this game. Now, whether or not they do so or not remains to be seen, but I just think they'll have the quality defensively to neutralise Manchester United. It would be typical of Rasmus Højlund, who hasn't scored in however many games it is now, to maybe go on and get his first goal in a long, long time. That's the hope anyway. I'm praying that Højlund actually turns up in this one. But no, I can't see that happening. And I think in the final third, despite the fact that Arsenal, of course, have their problems, I think that maybe that win midweek will have given them a much-needed boost. I think it would have given them a lot of confidence in front of goal. And I think that eventually they will probably break down this Man United defence, which is suspect to a lot of bozo moments. Is suspect to a lot of stupid errors. So I've gone 3-1 to Arsenal. I think United will maybe catch them cold on a counter-attack, maybe right at the beginning or right at the end. Either way, Arsenal get the 3 points. They'll close the gap on Liverpool, in my opinion, because Liverpool will extend the gap, so they will match Liverpool's result this weekend. I'm hoping, well, not really hoping that Arsenal match the result, but I'm hoping that Liverpool at least get their business handled, you know what I mean. And that about wraps it up. That about wraps it up for this one. These are just the thoughts, the comments, the opinions, the predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the games that are coming up this weekend? Another round of exciting and intriguing Premier League encounters. What do you make of my predictions on each and every single game coming up this weekend? I'd love to know what you guys are thinking and feeling about all of that. Plus your own predictions, of course, because after all, where would a Premier League predictions video be after all without predictions? Get involved in the comment section, people. Would love to hear from you all down below. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you are new or want to see more content like this. Both things are always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. And I will see you speak to you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you again very, very soon.